Hi, this is Joanne from Inspiring Yarns, and I'm just going to do a short video to show you how to do the V-stitch scarf. This is the one we're talking about here, which is the first project that most crocheters do when they do the courses. So if you can have a wee look there, I don't know whether you can see, but it's made up of rows of V's, and at each side there are 2 stitches up each side. It's a bit hard to see it in that yarn, although it looks lovely. So I'm just going to show you it in a plain iron weight yarn with a 5mm hook. So get that out of the way. As always, we start with a slip knot. So to do your slip knot, if you remember, pop that around like that and just pull a loop through, and that gives you your slip knot. You don't want it too tight, and actually keep it quite loose because you might want to unpick some of your chain at the end. If you make it tight, that makes it hard to get it started. So the pattern says chain 41. So a chain is yarn round and just pull it through. Pattern says chain 41, but I'm not going to do the full width, and I would also suggest that you yarn more than 41, or you chain more than 41, like 45 or something, because it is easy to undo some of the chain at the end of it. Rather than when you get to the end of your first row and you find you haven't got enough chain to finish it. So I'm just going to do enough to have some straight edge and V's in the middle. I've probably done a bit too much there, but anyway. So the pattern says for the first row, and the first row is always a bit of a nuisance to do because you haven't got much to hold on to and it's a bit awkward to get into. But we're going to work into the chains at the bottom. And if you remember, there are 3 sort of strands to chain. There's the bottom strand, the top strand, and then there's one in the middle. It's that one that kind of pops out on the back there. If you go into the top strand, there's a tendency to pull a hole in it. You know, so if you can, if possible, it's not essential, but if possible, you can go between the bottom strand and the middle strand. And the easiest way to do that is kind of just stab your hook down towards the floor. That means you've got 2 strands at the top and 1 strand at the bottom, and it'll look much neater for you, much more professional. So the first row says do 1 treble into the 4th chain from your hook, and that is because this 3 chain, 1, 2, 3, count as your first stitch on the first row. Okay, so I'm going into this one, the 4th chain from the hook, going to stab down towards the floor, and I'm going to do a treble. So now I have my 2 stitches at the end done, and then the pattern asks you to work across doing V's, and the way you do that is you're going to skip 2 chain, that's 1, 2, go into the 3rd chain to do a treble, then you're going to do 1 chain and another treble into the same place. Okay, so now we have, whether you can see that or not, but we have the 2 straight stitches at the end here, and then we have a V shape here, and the V shape is made up of a treble, a chain along the top, and another treble into the same space at the bottom. So we're just going to work across and do that, and we're going to skip 2 chain, 1, 2. Some people find it hard to work out where the chain are, but so if you can look at the loops at the bottom, see we've worked into that loop there. So then this is 1 loop, 2 loops, and I want to go into that 3rd loop then. Again, down towards the bottom to do a treble. Do a chain and another treble. So the only time you're doing a chain is before you're doing a treble into the same place again. Okay, we're not doing chains between the V's, just in the middle of the V. That'll get a bit easier and become more clear as we go along. So we're worked into that one, we're going to miss that one, and go into this one. Do a treble, a chain, oop, missed, and another treble into the same place. So we've got 3 done. The pattern asks you to do 11. The pattern is asks you to chain 41 because it's a multiple of 3 plus 2, and you can make this scarf as wide as you want or as narrow as you want. You could even make it wide enough and make it into sort of a baby blanket or a bigger blanket size. I'm only going to do about 5 across here just to give you the idea. So I've done 3. This 1, 2, go in here. This 1, 2, into the third one, do a treble, a chain, and a treble. So I've got 2 straight stitches here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 V's. So at the end of the row then we want to do another 2 straight stitches, the same as at the beginning. So again I'm going to miss 2 stitches, do 1 treble into the third, chain, that's 1 straight stitch, and then do another treble into the next chain, 2 straight stitches. Just going to set it down. Encourage people always to set their yarn, their work down at the end of the row so that you can kind of spot if you've made a mistake somewhere and you're not having to take rows out then. So we've got 2 straight stitches here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 V's, and 2 straight stitches at the end. And we're not going to worry about this chain because we're able to unpick it. Okay, so the end of the row, row 2 is repeated from here on to finish the scarf. And you start that by doing 3 chain, 1, 2, 3 chain, and now I'm turning around to go back. So this 3 chain counts as my first stitch, so I'm missing this stitch and I'm going into this one. So I'm just going to do a treble into there. Now I want to work into the middle of the V's, okay? So that's right in there. I'm going to do a V on top of the V. So we just do 1 treble in there, 1 chain, and 1 treble. So if you like, you have a V growing out of the V below. What you don't want to do is go in, if you can see these to me look like squares. This is a V, a square, a V, a square, a V. And sometimes people think it's a bit far to go over to there, but you're going into the next V, no chain between the V's. So I'm just going into the next V to do a treble, a chain, and a treble. That's 2 done. The next one, treble, chain, treble. Just 2 more to do. Yarns again, chain, treble, the last one, treble, chain, and a treble. So now we're at the end of the row, and these were the very first 2 stitches, including the 3 chain counted as the first treble, and then we did a treble, and we want 2 straight stitches just sitting on top of these. So if you look at this stitch here and work your way up to the top of it, that's where you're going to put the next stitch. So yarn around and just work a treble into that stitch. And then your last stitch needs to go into the top of this 3 chain. Again, if you work under 1 strand only, it can make a big hole. So ideally have 2 strands at the top, if you can see that there, and just 1 at the bottom, and work your treble in there. It's not the end of the world if you don't do that, but it just does keep it nice and neat and straight for you. So that's row 2 completed. Okay, and every other row is going to be the same as that. So I'll just do 1 more row to show you how that works. So 3 chain, turn in your work, missing the first stitch and doing a treble into the second stitch. Working along into the V's, not the squares, into the V's, right into the hole in the middle. 1 treble, 1 chain, 1 treble. Treble, chain, treble. Chain, treble, 2 more. Last one, treble, 1 chain, and 1 treble. We're at the end of the row again. You can see these 2 stitches starting to stack up on top of each other. So just following that one up to the top, that's where I'm going. Yarn round first, do a treble, and then the last stitch into this top chain, just in there. So we've got 2 strands at the top. We'll just set that down and have a look at it, and hopefully you'll be able to see the pattern starting to take shape. We've got 2 stitches sitting on top of each other at either side, and in between we've got the V's, which are kind of stacked on top of each other as well. So you just keep going on for as long as you like. I did say I would show you how to unpick this at the end. So if you just go to the end of the chain, if you've got lots of it, you could actually, once you get the first bit out, it's easier. You can actually cut a bit of it off. But of course I don't have my scissors here. Not playing ball for me again. Something. I just need to get that first wee bit out. There it is. Like so. And then you can just take it out like this the whole way down. So you just literally need to unpick the first couple and then unpick the whole way down. Got too far to go, but when you get to there, it'll tighten. You just tighten it up and it'll look grand. So there you go, V-stitch scarf. I hope you enjoy it.